is Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Brian Hale. Now we're going to be discussing Brian's incredible book, Are You Lucky? Our attempts to influence our fate in dealing with what we get. Now, it's available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a whole host of other places. But if you want to gather everything that he has in store, check out his personal site, 𝑟𝑒youluckybook.com. There, you're going to gather more information on him, on his book, hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing pages. Man, I'm telling you, it's a one-stop shop. Again, that's 𝑟EYouLuckyBook.com. And before we go any further, I want to quickly take this opportunity and point out the fact that Brian was brought to us by one of the best publishing firms in the business. People you already know, talking about Bookdomain LLC. So for my writers out there who have gone through their process, creating their masterpiece, and now you need some assistance moving that book, well, contact Bookdomain, people, because they're one of the best movers in the business. You're going to want to head on over to bookdomainllc.com and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Brian here on the line. You look at that title, man, you got an idea of the discussion we're getting ready to have. We're going to be talking about luck today. Okay, we chase it, we curse it, we even pray for it at times. But I got a question, man, does it really exist? Well, in this book, we're going to dive into the mysterious force that shapes our wins, our losses, and everything in between. Is luck just random chance, or can we actually bend it in our favor? That's a question I'm looking forward to discussing. I know you all are as well. From bizarre superstitions to life-changing moments, this book challenges everything we think we know about fortune. And today, man, we're going to unravel the secrets of luck. And hopefully, maybe we'll get some lucky answers in the process. Sit back, strap in, have your notebooks ready. Brian, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much for having me. This is a great opportunity, and it's a good opportunity to just discuss these things that plague us all. Luck is in everybody's life.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I think this is why I was saying your book has a lot of appeal, and a lot of people of all ages, of all backgrounds, they're going to be able to gravitate towards it because, like you said, man, we've all been there where we have that either a stroke of luck or maybe some bad fortune. This is going to be a book to help us put things in perspective, potentially. So we're looking forward to discussing it. Before we go into it, I'm curious to know, Brian, first and foremost, man, what inspired you to write Are You Lucky? And how did your personal experiences shape the ideas that you present in the book?
Well, I was exposed at a very young age to a family who lived across the street from us, and they seemed to be very much attuned to all sorts of strange rituals that I really hadn't known. They would, they didn't want to ever cross the path of a black cat. Didn't want to walk under a ladder, which for safety reasons isn't a bad idea anyways, but breaking a mirror was a terrible thing. If you find a penny face up on the ground, that was good luck to them. So this sort of hatched in me early as I watched these folks operate. We play a board game and they'd blow on the dice because that apparently convinced the dice to come up to the number they wanted to come up at. And so had a lot of early training about this. Then my sort of life-changing incident that got me really focused on this was when I was 17 years old. I went up with my dad to cut some firewood up in the mountains above Denver, and that an accident happened where I was holding the log up on a stump so he could cut through it. He was on the thick end of the log, and it didn't go through completely all the way, so he took the saw out so it could cool off a bit. And when he put it back in, it didn't go into the notch just right, and it kicked out, and I was standing behind him, just kind of holding the log, and the chainsaw came into contact with my face. Terrible sort of thing. It was from chin up to near my eye. And at any rate, I tell people this story in the ensuing years. And at the end of my detailed description of what happened, the people always end with saying, "You are very lucky." And I always thought, if I were very lucky, I might have missed the blade of the chainsaw. But I did, fortunately, when I got to the hospital, there's a expert plastic surgeon who put that together in amazing, after 300 or so stitches, put it together in amazing shape. And I always wondered about that whole concept of luck as a result of that. Do you have to have something terrible happen to you to be lucky? But what I realized over time is a lot of people have a lot less happen negatively to them, and they just become despondent and can't get out of their own way and become downtrodden. And for some reason, I didn't end up under an underpass drinking myself to death. I found another path moving forward. And for that, I'm very lucky, because there are, again, people who have less happen to them, and yet they never are able to overcome the unfortunate situation that has befallen them. So that's why I feel, yes, I am lucky, because whether it was a divine intervention that led me somewhere else, my own stubbornness, or maybe dumb luck that got me to keep going. Frankly, I wanted to get better because my dad held all the guilt. That to the extent that I was able to get better and continue to do what I do as I would have otherwise, the less he had to feel guilty about this terrible experience of cutting your son with a chainsaw.
Wow. All right. Well, look, Brian, listen, man, that's a way to start an interview. My goodness, maybe we can end it there and you are hooked, because I'm hooked. I know you all must be as well. Brian, that is incredible, man. Thank you very much for sharing. And listen, you brought up something that I think is very key to all of this. So maybe I'm jumping ahead here, but I think a lot of this is what lies in the heart of your book. You're talking about, these neighbors that you had growing up and their thought process around certain superstitions that they had. You're also talking about this incredible experience that you've had and how your perception shifted because of it. And I think a lot of this boils down to that perception, that state of mind. And I think that is key in all of this. And I know it's something that you emphasize in your book. Well, if we're talking about the importance of a particular mindset, how can someone shift their mindset to increase the chances of success and opportunity?
Well, what I've found over time is that you need time. No matter what, whether it's a weather phenomenon or a personal tragedy that happens, in the moment, it's very, very paralyzing to you. You are struck in grief. People in fires, they've lost all of their precious photos and other sorts of possessions, but they have their life and they hopefully have insurance. They can rebuild and go on. And so do you focus on those lost photos or do you focus on the life in front of you? And I guess for almost every situation, it's really a matter of finding the new perspective. And so I know I live in Nebraska, and there's an old yarn that in Nebraska, a tornado that goes through a small town can do millions and millions of dollars worth of improvement because some of those towns haven't had a new building in town for decades. And when a tornado comes through, suddenly they have a new fire hall and a new church and several new houses, and they have a future, right? So, certainly the tornado was tragic and scary and certainly set you back. But if you look in the long term, there's something new, something vibrant coming to that community. And again, if you can overcome losing personal possessions and the family photo album, it's still something that there's a future and you can actually start anew. And some people say, take that and say, well, this is an opportunity to start new. To start fresh. I'm not burdened by that leaky faucet that's always bothered me. I can get a new kitchen. And so a lot of that is true really no matter what the tragedy. And I talked about my experience. I believe everybody in life has had some traumatic experience in their life. If you haven't yet, congratulations. But, life is established in a way in which we all come to an end. And so you might be coming along really nicely today. Next week, you might have a heart attack, you might have a stroke, you might get hit by a car. I mean, we wish none of that on anybody, but it happens. And so I think the key is in a mindset is to try to keep your mind focused on the positives, even though that may be impossible initially. What do we have left? What do we have? We're still living. We're still breathing. We're still, here to make a difference for other people. And I think that's something that you have to get to that, to focus on the positive. Somebody once said, whatever you focus on gets bigger. And so if you're obsessed with what you've lost, it's very difficult to get out of that hole. And so you have to be sort of focused on the positive to help grow that, to help bring a better future about.
People, again, we're here on the line with Brian Hale. We're discussing his amazing book, Are You Lucky? It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's areyouluckybook.com. Head on over there today, pick up your copies, and truly, man, take this book for the magnificent resource that it is, because I'm picking up what he's putting down, people, and I know you're following as well. That perception, that state of mind is key. And people, listen, I've said this on a number of occasions in the past. I am a firm believer in the power of your perception being able to shift your reality. And, I mentioned it before. When I was younger, I was probably late teens, early 20s at the time. And I remembered going through a period of transition. And I was focusing so much on the negative things that were happening around me. And I was very unhappy with all of the changes. And it was almost as if, and this is, definitely a quote unquote situation, because of course it wasn't actually happening this way. But I've recognized, because I was focusing so heavily on the negative things that were happening, it almost appeared as if more negative things were then drawn to me. Well, at a certain point, I realized, I'm like, okay, well, if this is what's happening by me focusing solely on the negative, let me try now to put more of an emphasis on the positive things that are happening. Focus more on that. And wouldn't you know it, just like in reverse, it almost appeared as if more positive things were then drawn to me. Now, here's the thing. I realized, and at least for me, because of course I haven't done studies on this, and I'm not going to say that it is fact, but for me, it was fact that it's not as if more positive things were then happening or more negative things were happening. It was solely my perception shifting to now focusing on that. Negative things were still happening. I just wasn't really focusing on it anymore. So it shifted my reality in a way. And a lot of that is what we're talking about now. And it leads into my follow-up question here, Brian. And I listen, man, I think you've already gone into describing it, but I think it's so important. It's worth exploring further. People that consider themselves quote unquote lucky, are they simply noticing opportunities that arise more than others? I mean, you brought up the great example of a tornado ripping through a town. Well, it gives them now the opportunity to update some of these outdated buildings, right? You're recognizing an opportunity in the tragedy. Talk to us about the validity of that and noticing more opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I look at luck actually as something that is spiritual. And I wondered if luck was a physical quality. Was luck something that God randomly threw down in various places where he felt he needed it? Or was it just and I think to that extent, it's spiritual. If you believe in luck, if you believe in good luck will find you. It's probably there in the same quantities otherwise, but if you believe in it and recognize it, that was a piece of good fate, you're going to feel luckier about it, feel more positive moving forward, and probably have more positive results moving forward. And so, spirituality is explaining things through faith, the things you don't really understand, but I don't know why the ball bounced that way, but it must be something that it must have been luck. If you can't explain it any other way, we explain it through luck. And so in that respect, it's very spiritual. So yeah, I don't know that I exactly answered your question, but I think that it is very much a mindset that you surround yourself with you're looking for the positive, you'll find it. If you're looking for the negative, you'll find it because they both exist. But as you say, focusing on the positive things that happen to you often cause you to recognize, ooh, hey, that was really lucky that happened. And also, I think one of the pieces of my book is that I realized that luck is directly related to gratitude. So if you are grateful for your children, your grandchildren, your wife, your friends, it's easy to feel lucky that those people are in your life and continue to function and greet you and those sorts of things. And if you're somebody who has a hard time feeling gratitude about things that life deals, luck is very hard to follow along. Because it's, you don't really have that appreciation for all of the good things that you've been graced with. Might add, the book is intentionally entitled with a question. Are you lucky? With a question mark at the back. And that's up for you to decide. I can't tell you if you're lucky. You can't tell me if I'm lucky. You decide for yourself. And so very much in the same vein of what you are talking about, I think that's important as you pick up this book. May not give you all the answers, but it's going to pose the questions and allow you to decide for yourself, because we all get to decide for ourselves.
I love that. Listen, Brian, as we close out, man, my final question, listen, we know about your background. We know about this incredible book. I'm focusing now on the future, man. What's upcoming for you? What's on the horizon?
Well, much in the same vein, such as luck is sort of a concept we all think we know and yet we don't know. I'm focusing on the next concept that is that people all have talked about very much recently, but really maybe don't appreciate exactly what it means, and that is freedom. And so I want to. I'm writing currently a book that talks about elements of freedom. We all talk about live free or die, but everything in life causes you to sort of conscript some of that. If you have a job, you have to report at a certain time and you have to do certain things. If you get married, you have to change some of your behaviors that you had when you were single. And every freedom comes with a responsibility. And so I talk about from the First Amendment, you can talk about and say anything you want, but there are consequences to saying whatever you want, not only in a crowded firehouse, but anywhere up and down the street. The Second Amendment, much the same. We just go down the list. Every right and freedom has a responsibility to it. And so much in the same vein as this book, the next book will be talking about freedom. And again, another vague concept, and there's a lot of talk. The freedom talk has been writing itself the last 10 years or so as people go back and forth, and the immigration thing and other things that cause people to feel like they're free, but they're not really free. And so it's just as intriguing, but I think that's very consequential all the same as far as people's outlook and feeling and how they move forward in their life.
Listen, I'm looking forward to that one. People, it starts with Are You Lucky? One last time, it's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's areyouluckybook.com. Head on over there today. Remember the name Brian Hale. You're going to want to check back in frequently. His next book sounds just as remarkable. If you take nothing else from this interview, man, take this. Whether luck is fate, chance, or simply the reward of a bold and open mind, one truth shines through, and that is the luckiest people are often those who expect opportunity and embrace it without fear. Now, a lot easier said than done, right? There's a lot of fear out there, and sometimes those opportunities, they appear daunting, but the power of our mind is so crucial in all of this. So keep your mind sharp, your spirit open, and remember, the best kind of luck is the kind you create for yourself. This book is going to help you embrace that and really tackle the adventure ahead. This is something special, man. You know where to go. Pick up your copies today. Brian, this has been a true pleasure, an absolute delight. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you. Thank you very much.